Good evening, everybody. Kamari Ellis here. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. Today is the Ask Kamari segment. Every Wednesday, we look to do a Q&A where we just sit here. I sit here and I answer questions all day, well, all night rather, right? So a lot of times I put them out early and I get questions, and I got a couple of those today. I also try to answer any questions that you might have throughout this session as well. Today is Wednesday, 7 o'clock. I'm a little late. I'm on Instagram. I am on YouTube, and I am on Facebook as well. So it's been a pretty interesting day. A lot of things jumping off in the marketplace. We saw, no, Nurse Nikki, I saw you were in and then it went away. So if you stick around, I'll try to come back to you later on. But we're doing it live right now. But really interesting day in the market. Dow Jones jumped over 2% today. If y'all were paying attention yesterday, Dow Jones surged 5%. I want to say almost 1,700 points. And so if y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I told you that the stock market is going to be bouncing up and down all over the place. So we've had a bunch of down days. We had 2 up days. Some people are happy. Don't get happy, folks. Don't get cocky. Still do your due diligence when you go to invest. Do your research. Do your homework. Don't buy any shares and just tell me you buy it willy-nilly, even though I know folks are going to do that anyway. But, again, it's not going to be all doom and gloom, but it's not going to be all sunshine and happiness as well. So today, got a couple questions already lined up. If you have questions that you want to ask me and get my perspective and my answer to whatever your money situation is, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So again, you're watching the Finance Rebel Show. This show is all about increasing your financial IQ. When you get an opportunity as you're watching the show, share with somebody who is looking to get a little bit more financial clarity, a little bit more understanding of what's going on in these markets. We're going to be talking about some taxes. I got a lot of stock questions already lined up. So, today is we just answer questions. So I know I have one question already lined up. Got this one today when I was doing another show. Lady said she just got fired from her job. Sorry to hear that. It's a terrible time to get fired. And she has a 401k at that job, and she wants to know, should she leave her 401k at her job, or should she take that 401k with her or roll it over to an IRA? Now, anybody got to guess what I might say? Because y'all know I'm all about control. I'm all about controlling your narrative. I mean, when I say control, I'm not talking about, overly control, right? If that even makes sense, right? There are some cases where, I might take my car to get my brakes done, but I'm in control of that. I believe that we all should be in control of our finances. We all need to have a better understanding of our finances if we're really serious about becoming wealthy. You can't really become wealthy just trusting solely on someone else, on their knowledge, on their experience, on their education. You got to up-level your financial education as well if you really want to become wealthy. Now, again, I'm not saying that you can't go to an advisor, an accountant, an investment professional, or whoever, but typically when you get the best results, you're an advocate for yourself. When you go to the doctor, if you have to be an advocate for your medical health, you have to do all those things. You can't just sit back and be passive, right? So again, when I talk about this lady and her situation, talking about should she leave her money at her old job 401k that only has a select amount or a limited amount of investment options, what do you think I'm going to say? You think I'm going to say, just leave it there? Just let the people at the 401k company run it? Now, mind you, I always talk about 401ks. I always talk about the benefit of 401ks. However, circumstances have changed. So what I would say is that this lady should take her 401k and roll it over to an IRA, maybe even as a self-directed IRA. If she was in business for herself, I might even tell her to roll it over into a solo 401k. But I don't know enough about her situation. I'm not giving financial advice. Remember, I got to say this, right? You got to say this. These conversations, all of this stuff is for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right. It's for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not predict future results. All right. Past performance does not predict future results. Anytime you are looking to buy an investment, please talk to your investment and tax advisors before you make any moves. I don't want anybody saying Kamari recommended the stock. No, Kamari is just talking about stocks in an educational format because I want everybody to have a better level of financial education, not financial literacy, but financial education. There's a difference. But we'll talk about that another time. How's everybody over on Instagram? Everybody's saying to roll it over. You know, that's right. Joe Brown said stocks going up. Joe, you just missed me. I just said don't get too carried away. We had 2 up days in a row. Don't mean that the worst is over yet. Don't mean that the roller coaster ride is done yet. We ain't pulled up to the station yet. So we still got time. We are still going to see this, especially with this guy who is leading the pack down in the White House, basically with no direction. Called it a hoax. Denied certain things, got rid of the pandemic team at the CDC. No, he did not cause the virus. I am not trying to suggest that. What I am saying that there was his poor leadership and how to deal with it going forward. And now he's trying to rush everyone back by April 12th, I believe. So we'll see. I mean, I've seen a lot of people out and about. I've seen a lot of people doing their thing. I've heard about people barbecuing out in the park. There's a reason why they're asking for social distancing. Is it a major inconvenience? Absolutely. It's definitely a major inconvenience. However, our hospital system, our medical system is not ready to deal with this virus in the way that it's coming on. And so if anybody's noticed in the last 2 days, the infection rate has doubled. Now I do have some wonders about that, right? Because we went at like 200,000 some odd cases, and now we're over like 400,000, 430,000 cases. But I'm wondering, well, is that because people just weren't tested, or the spread advanced? I'm kind of thinking it probably just people were not tested because there were no tests available, because somebody turned down getting the test. But I already talked about that, so I'm not going to belabor that. How you doing, John? How's everything? John over on YouTube, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. Leonard Richardson, good evening. John, Camario's for president? Hell no. Y'all saw what they did to Barack? Y'all see I ain't got no hair. Barack came in with a full head of hair. It was black. He got typical salt and pepper now through all the stress that they put him through. I'm not built for that. Thank you for the gesture, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, Misty's got a question over on YouTube. Hey, Misty. Oh, Misty, my Bobcat sister. Misty and I went to high school together. Hey, Misty, I looked at my 401k last week, and I could have cried over the loss. Should I just ride it out or reallocate? I think right now is a great time to reallocate. I know a lot of times when I talk to people, they are very dismayed by the service that they get from their 401k providers. So I'm actually going to come out and I'm going to do something around 401ks. I'm not quite ready to announce it yet, but probably in the next day or two I'll announce it. And Misty, I'll definitely make sure I reach out to you as well. But I'm trying to help as many people as possible. But again, reallocation right now is a good thing. And many of 401ks, people have bond positions. Your bond positions are up, right? So I'll give you a little guess. Your bond positions are up. If you were to sell some of them off and you could potentially buy stocks, Misty, I think I'm older than you, Misty, right? So you ain't got no worries about retirement no time soon. You're probably working another 20 years easily. And, the whole point or the power of the 401k comes through dollar cost investing. So basically, with dollar cost investing, you are investing the same amount over time, whether it's $100 each pay. So that's roughly $200 a month. You're putting in $200 a month, which is $2,400 for the year. So every year you're putting in $2,400 at various times in the market. So sometimes the market may be high, sometimes it's low, but typically when you do it that way, you tend to have a lower cost average of the stocks that you're buying. So I wouldn't worry too much. But I'll be definitely sending out some information about what I'm doing next with people in their 401ks. I got another question. Cindy Staley over on IG says, as an ER nurse, God bless you and thank you for being on the front line. People are not getting tested pretty much. So Cindy, are they not getting tested because tests aren't available, or are they not getting tested because they're stubborn and hard-headed? I mean, which one do you think it is? All right. So if you're just joining, I'm Kamara Yellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. The Finance Rebel Show is all about increasing your financial IQ. Today's session is the Ask Kamari segment, where we just answer financial, money, tax, business, insurance, or credit questions. So put your questions in. I already have a couple of questions already lined up. I answered one of them already about the 401k. Another question, I've been getting this a lot. Should I pay my bills? Should I pay my bills? So it depends, right? So this is kind of a two-pronged answer, so to speak. Two-pronged answer because it depends, right? So if you are someone like me, my cash flow is not stable. And what I mean by that, right? My cash flow goes up some days or some weeks and some months, and then it goes down. Just yesterday, I had someone who I did their taxes and they didn't pay me. That's my fault because I didn't get a deposit up front. Bad business practice, because I usually get deposits up front for everybody, right? So even I have to call myself on the carpet when I do something wrong or I do something bad. So for me, I'm looking at hoarding as much cash right now as possible and making as many people wait on their bills as possible within reason, right? Now, a lot of people have gotten moratoriums on payments and shutoffs for utilities. I just heard some companies have done it for cell phones too. I don't know about that because I just paid my cell phone. And I doubt if they're going to give me my money back. Maybe if I call them, they'll give me a refund so I can put some food on the table. But, what I say is, if you have unstable income or unstable cash flows, what I probably should say, then you might want to hoard a little bit more. And hoard's not the right. Save your cash is the better explanation, right? However, if you are at a job and you're able to work from home, with all the self-quarantining and this social distancing, and you feel that your income is stable, pay your bills. Pay your bills. One more thing for people who are, kind of have unstable cash flow. If you have like any payment agreements or anything like that, like paying down debt, I would put that on pause for right now. I would put it on pause for right now. Again, just because you don't know what's going to happen, especially if you have a family and children and spouses and stuff like that to take care of. We don't know what's going to happen. We see what people are doing with guns and with toilet paper. Oh, by the way, update to my toilet paper chronicles. My wife was able to find a 4-roll pack of of toilet paper yesterday. So that was funny. So I think we're good for a little while, but we'll see what happens. Again, I would just save cash until people got to work. A lot of things are going on, especially with the stimulus program or the proposed stimulus program, because it has not It has not gotten passed yet. It's not a law. That's another question I got. I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, if you have income and it's stable, I would pay your bills. I would still try to be frugal. By the way, frugal does not mean cheap, people. Frugal does not mean cheap. Frugal means you try to get the best bang for your buck. There's a difference between the two. So I would look to, not waste a whole lot of money, not do a bunch of frivolous shopping, get your bare essentials, pay the bills that you need to pay to keep everything on and running, whether it be your mortgage, even though I know many mortgage companies are also doing moratoriums as well. So, you got to keep it in perspective. But, in my group, the Finance Robo Academy, I asked the question, how does everybody feel right now? And what is your biggest concern? And for the most part, everybody said their biggest concern was money. So that tells me that people don't have enough money put aside. I mean, I'll be honest, even myself, I'm not comfortable with the level of business I have coming in. I would have to have a whole lot more. And with the amount of money that I have in savings, I need more. So, I'm keeping that in play, but business is still coming in. I'm not destitute. I got a roof over my head. All is well. Oops, I turned my thingy around, waving hello to everybody. So, I'm not worried. And I try not to worry about things that I don't have control over. I typically just focus on the things that I do have control over. Now, I saw a couple other things on IG. Okay, Cindy responded to my question as hospitals give PTs with patients with flu-like symptoms a number to call, and they are sent home with flu-like symptoms. If they are admitted, patient is tested in-house. Okay. He says, Paul, how are you? Isaiah, how are you? Loves Life Smile, how are you? Najee, how are you? Garen, how are you, sir? What's up, buddy? I got to get you on one of these days. I want to interview you and about your new project. All right, so y'all got my part about paying bills, right? It depends. Again, stable cash flow, pay your bills, be conservative though. Don't go spending unnecessarily. If you don't have stable cash flow, keep your money as much as possible. And make some of your collectors wait as much as possible. Hey, Perk Baby, how are you? All right, so we covered 401k. Should I leave my 401k at my job? We covered, should I pay my bills? There's another one. I didn't get a chance to cue that up yet, though. That one was, man, so I got a text. It was, when is Trump going to send out the stimulus money? And how do I go out and get it? So first of all, Trump ain't send nothing out. Congress did it, right? It's important not to give people who are not responsible for certain actions credit for things they really didn't do. As y'all can probably tell where I stand with things on this. But the Congress is going to do that. And yes, the White House is going to, it sounds like they're going to accept it. I'm not sure yet what the final details are because the House and the Senate are still fighting over the details on what they call the pork belly spending. Everything from, I saw something like $75 million for museums. They're trying to introduce a digital currency, a governmental-owned digital currency. So all my Bitcoin lovers, strap on because things are about to get interesting if that gets passed through. They're looking out, doing some bailouts for airlines and some other industries and a direct bailout package to everyday citizens, U.S. citizens. So it should be good. Ron, you said, I've been following you since I heard you on By the Hood. Absolutely. Shout out to By the Hood. Shout out to Corey. Shout out to Jimmy. Those my bros over there. We got some stuff cooking too. We're going to be working on some stuff as well. So that should be fun. And actually, I want to say By the Hood, they've got a lot of good interviews over there. So if anybody wants a podcast to go check out, I definitely would recommend By the Hood. All right. So next question. Next question. Next question is going to be a stock question. So I'm going to bring up another window. Give me 1 second, folks. The question is, this is Darius. Darius, it's your turn. Your question's up. Our question is going to be, what do I think about Beyond Meat? Beyond Meat, for anybody that hasn't been watching, has been killing it ever since they launched their IPO. Everybody knows, though, I am not a fan of IPOs. I think IPOs suck because usually most IPOs were, most IPOs typically don't do well when they first start. So I'm always leery of IPOs. And what is an IPO? It is an initial public offering. And you were on a Black Men Conference. I'm not sure, Ron. I mean, I do a lot of stuff around Black wealth. That's no secret. I talk about it, done videos about it, interviews about it. I've written about it. I think I want to write a book about it. Just got to find the time to do it. But I don't know. I don't know about the conference. Gemini Poppy, how are you, sir? So we're about to look at Beyond Meat. So I'm going to switch the screen over to Beyond Meat. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to get fancy on y'all. I'm trying to learn how to use all my tools so I can do a better job of presenting the information to y'all and you walk away with something valuable. Mona Jean, how are you? Black Conference with Todd. Who's Todd? I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm getting old. All right, as I put up the other screen, I'm just going to run through a couple of comments and questions that I see. Alethea Cooper asked, are you still planning to create an accounting bookkeeping system for businesses? I had people, so some of my small business clients, I have them do bookkeeping, or sometimes I do their bookkeeping. They're mad at me. A lot of them get mad at me because basically I spank their bottoms because most of the people don't realize how important a bookkeeping system is. Really can't get serious about business if you don't have a bookkeeping / accounting system. It's so important. It's so necessary. You can't really do any finance, any forecasting. You can't really do any real planning. If you're looking to use your business as a tool to build wealth, you gotta do bookkeeping. Couple reasons. One, taxes, right? Many people who don't do bookkeeping tend to overpay in taxes. Why? Because they usually don't know where the hell the expenses are or what the expenses are. Two, you want to be able to defend your tax returns if they're ever audited with the IRS or by the IRS, right? Or even some of the state and local municipalities. Many times they would want to see your records. How did you do this? How did you come up with these figures? Did you really spend $100,000 on office equipment? Did you really buy uniforms that were worth $200,000 and you only had revenues of $5,000 for the year? You know, I see those things. It's a slight exaggeration, but not much. Todd Millie. But yeah, it's crucial. It's so crucial. I was thinking about doing a training, Alethea, because a lot of people don't have the requisite skills to do bookkeeping. And bookkeeping isn't super hard. When we tell you what bookkeeping is, it's relatively easy, right? It's categorizing how the money that comes in, what it is, and categorizing how the money that goes out of your business is what it is, right? So what I'm gonna give y'all something right now. A lot of y'all often double book, right? Especially brand new. So let's say you brand new business, let's call it Newco. You put $1,000 in the bank. How do you categorize that $1,000? Either you or the bookkeeper, you go through all the deposits and your business bank account, again, business bank account. And then you you put together your tax return. But you just put that $1,000 that wasn't revenue, it wasn't sales, but you put it in your revenue column, which makes it a high potential that you're going to pay more in taxes. But actually, that should have been categorized as owner's contribution, which is equity that you're paying into your business, right? And so that happens a lot because people don't track the money that's coming into the business. And then sometimes it's double booked as revenue. And that is not a good thing. So I would stress to everybody, do a bookkeeping system. And I don't know, maybe I will get back to doing that training. I know I said I was going to do it, but I got a little sidetracked with tax season and coronavirus. Todd Milley. I'm not sure who Todd Milley is. I don't doubt it. I don't remember off the top of my head. That ain't no diss to nobody. I don't remember. So, all right. So, Gerald Martin, how are you? Appreciate your content. Learn lots. Mount Airy in the house. Mount Airy, what's up? I'm from West Oak Lane. So Mount Airy is right next door. Actually, some people in my neighborhood call the neighborhood I grew up Mount Airy. So we can go either way. We're neighbors, either way you look at it. Cheryl said, hello, Kamari. You got a great shout out on an earlier FP live stream on a private group I belong to. Oh, you're probably talking about Vanessa. I just couldn't think of Vanessa's name either. Yeah, Vanessa's doing her thing. I appreciate that. What are your thoughts on getting a home equity investment? Hey, Anthony, by the way, where you pay no monthly, they get a percentage of your home appreciation when you sell, or get the cash out refinance is a good idea. So it sounds like they want a balloon payment out at the end. Those can be very tricky. It almost sounds like an adjustable rate mode, or it sounds like an interest only payment. Those can be very tricky. Not sure why you might need to refinance. Now is a good time to refinance, but try to avoid refinancing where there's a whole bunch of fees. But if anybody remembers, I think it was 2 episodes ago, I had Robert Lewis on, mortgage lender, mortgage broker. I always get the terms confused. But he said anytime the going interest rate is 50 basis points less or 0.5% less of what you're currently paying, it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing. Hey, K West. K West is my enrolled agent homie from the West Side. Okay, you're looking for automated accounting service that works with QuickBooks. Okay, I'll talk to you offline about that. I think I might have a solution for you. I think I might just have a solution for you. So going back to questions here. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to chime them in. If you're just joining, I'm Kamari Ellis. This is the Finance Rebel Show. Today is the Ask Kamari segment where we do money Q&A, and we answer questions all the show, or for the entire show. So, all right, Beyond Meat. Let's do this here. Let's share the screen here. Again, I'm trying to get fancy on y'all. Can't get fancy just yet. Can't get fancy just yet. All right, so everybody, let me know if you can see the screen. You should be able to see the screen. So I'm looking at a monthly chart of Beyond Meat. And so what is a monthly chart? Each one of these bars you see here, you see the green and you see the red. They represent a month's worth of data. So you see these green bars. By the way, these are called candlesticks. They are very popular in the trading and investment community. And when you get really, really deep into it, there's all kinds of trading signals that once you know how to read them, they understand how you can generate trade ideas from this. So I'm going to switch though from monthly to monthly to daily. So when I look at a chart or when I look at a stock, I do two things. I like to look at the fundamentals, or I like to look at the fundamentals, right? The fundamentals, how the company makes money, how much money the company might have on its books, right? Its balance sheet for all you small business owners out there. Y'all should know that. I like to see how profitable they are. Do they have a good overall operation? So that's one thing. Then I also like to look at what the chart looks like. Now, you have some people who analyze stocks who only do technical analysis, and that's looking at the chart, and they only do fundamental analysis. They both are invaluable, in my opinion. They both can tell a story and help you make better buying decisions. Now, I'm not trying to what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm not trying to just throw a whole bunch of information at you. However, I'm going to start introducing more things to you over the time. Now, we have this daily chart, and you see here back in November, this bar right here, right? Again, each one of these bars represents a day's worth of information. On this day, October 31st, 2019, Beyond Meat closed out at $84.45. All right. And then you see I have the crosshairs on. So every time I move, it will show something a little bit different. But you see here from October 31st to about right here, which is January 20th, it was kind of in the sideways market, range-bound market. It wasn't doing much. And then it broke out. So on January 7th, stock price, again, closed out at $84, but then it kept going higher and higher. And then you'll see kind of it's starting to go sideways, right? Now it's going lower. And these other little wavy lines are called moving averages. One day I'll do a whole training on moving averages. By the way, I want to put this in y'all heads now. There is no such thing as a holy grail. There is no such thing as an indicator that's going to make you a pot of gold. You have to do your work. You have to be willing to create your own system. A lot of times I shy away from giving people stock recommendations, not because I can't, but because I believe fundamentally it makes people lazy. If you're rocking with me, I want you to be able to make your own investment decisions. I want you to build up enough educational and experience so you can make your own decisions, because one, I might not be here, and it's dependent upon you to build a strong foundation. So just going through Beyond, right? So again, we had a nice little rally. It topped off, now it fell. Now, you might say, all right, it bottomed here at 40, what's this? It closed out at $57.33. This was on March 20th, 5 days ago. And we've seen a spike. Now, this is why I say it's important to understand the two, to understand fundamentals and to understand technical analysis. If you just look here, you might say, wow, it might be making a reversal. The trend might be changing. But I know that there's been a lot of talk about stimulus in Congress and between the White House, Congress, and the House of Representatives, or Senate and the House of Representatives. So to me, this doesn't signal a potential change. This just signals people's temperament about the stock and that they might be enthusiastic. So I'm looking at this daily chart. And so to really, again, I want to check it against the monthly chart. And again, I'll do a more formal training, right? And if you have any questions, you can throw them in. But day trade, the day's information gives information on a shorter term basis. Monthly gives information or insight to stocks from a longer term basis. So when I look at this stock on a longer term basis, it's only been trading since, May of last year. So we don't even have a full 12 months of data. So we got March, June, July, and then once July hit, we kind of went into this downward trend. We had a couple of up days, but I would still say the stock is in a downward trend. So I would be looking to see if I got a reversal. And by the way, everything I talk about is I'm talking about it from a long-term perspective. All investments I'm talking about from a long-term perspective. So always keep that in mind. So for me to even think about buying a stock, because I'm thinking about long-term, I would want to see a trend reversal on this monthly mark, on this monthly chart to go the other way. So again, I wouldn't get too excited about this. I wouldn't get too excited about this, but I want to talk about the fundamentals as well, right? How much money does Beyond Meat have? Where are they getting their money from? And so if anybody knows and been paying attention, Beyond Meat is the meat substitute. It's the meat substitute for like all my vegan and plant-based people. They love it. So today it closed at $73. This is a $4.5 billion company. Okay, the market cap of this company again is $4.5 billion. And so just to give y'all an idea of just how wild the stock has been, it's traded at its lows $45. So for the year, its lows is 52-week range is $45. You want to know what the peak was? $239.71. So this stock has been definitely on a roller coaster. It's definitely been all over the place. It's definitely, and we're seeing those lows now, right? Because of Corona. We're seeing those lows now because of the slowdown in the overall markets. So you got to ask yourself, is Beyond Meat fundamentally a good company? Right? Do you think they will continue to make money? All right. Now, I'm going to tell you, at the end of December 31st, Beyond Meat did $297 million in revenue, right? Because they're in places like Burger King. I believe that's the Whopper they're using, or the Ultimate Whopper they're using, and a few other places there, and a few other major retail chains that sell food. But it made $297 million, right? And that's roughly 6 months of going public. But they lost $12 million, right? So they're still not a profitable company. So you have a company that's not so profitable, and they're in a downturn trend or downwards trend. I probably wouldn't buy this unless, again, I'm not doing a whole lot of research on these. I'm just looking at them on the surface and just looking at, a deep dive of them. I'm not doing a deep dive. It's kind of light and superficial. But these are some of the things that I look at when I first start off looking at companies. Now, I was reading from the income statement. The income statement basically captures how much money was made or lost in any particular period. The income statement captures how much expenses a company might have had. All right. Now, I'm looking at the balance sheet. Balance sheet captures how well a company is performing at any given time, right? Everybody's heard of net worth. So if you have a negative net worth, let's say you had a negative net worth in 2019. Well, 2019 wasn't that bad, but you might have turned the corner at 2020. And so balance sheets are very much the same way. And so right now, Beyond Meat has about $275 million on the book as of December 31st. Usually you can't get up-to-date income or up-to-date information, on these companies because it's only released in a quarterly fashion. However, they don't have a whole lot of debts, it looks like, as it relates to their balance sheet. So you're still looking at assets minus liabilities equals net worth. In the publicly traded sector or in the business sector, assets minus liabilities equals owner's equity. So this company has let's call it $68 million in total liabilities, and it has $452 million in overall assets. That's pretty good. But again, I probably would not be a proponent of buying that. Hey, be on the map. Hey, Zen. Hey, limited edition. How are you on IG? So again, I probably would not be super duper. I wouldn't be super duper excited about Beyond Meat at this point. I think at some point it may make a good investment idea. The market's clearly there, right? Especially with a scare like Corona, more people are moving to eat better because we know, or at least I hope we know, that the best way to fight viruses off like Corona is by having a better immune system. I'm not a doctor, but that's all, my doctor friends on IG and those who play doctor, that's what they're telling me. So I don't get the warm and fuzzy feeling about Beyond Meat at this point. At this point, again, I would say it deserves more study, but I wouldn't be willing to put any big money into it at this point. Now, the other one that Darius asked me about was Boeing. So give me 1 second, and I will. Let's look at Boeing real quick. Again, anybody have any questions? Throw it in the chat. I'm here. I am here. So let's look at Boeing. I want to say Boeing is. I want to say BOA. No. What's Boeing? Anybody know what Boeing is? Is it BOE? No. Yeah, BOE. So now we're looking at Boeing on a monthly chart. Definitely has more data because it's been in business a lot longer. So, wow. So again, looking at candlesticks, each one of these candles represents a month's worth of data. Each one of these is showing that Boeing has been having a rough time for a long time. And so if you look here back to January 2018, you've seen Boeing's kind of run between, let's see, January, what's the price here? So anywhere between 295 to say 445. So that's a pretty decent gap. This is a pretty expensive stock by a lot of measures. And we just saw it just fell off a cliff here. It just fell down to $169. So again, Boeing though, let's look at Boeing. Well, how does Boeing make their money? Does Boeing have, everyday customers coming in, or are they going through big contracts with big airlines and sometimes governments? It's the latter, right? They're making most of their money on governments and other airline companies. You know what? I'm looking at the wrong thing, y'all. I am so looking at the wrong thing. That's what happens when you're live. So Boeing Co. Not sure what that was. Okay. So sometimes it looks about the same. Sometimes stocks have different offerings out on the market and in other markets. But Boeing's ticker is BA, not BOE or BOA. It's BA. What's up, Eric? Cloudy, JR, BizTech. Thank you, she be dope. Big Stove, what's up, brother? So just keep that in mind, right? Make sure your ticker symbols are in order. So Boeing is BA. It's been trending sideways for quite some time. So, Darius asked me about Boeing. I'm not, again, I'm not so excited about it. But let's look at what I first look at when I jump into a stock. I'm going to be looking at how much money it makes. I'm going to look and see if it's paying any dividends. Boeing is paying a slight dividend. It's got a 5.18% dividend, but Boeing is also looking for government bailout. So 9 times out of 10, their dividend is going to get cut. That is actually one of the ramifications for getting bailout money. They are not going to allow companies to do dividends or buybacks, rightfully so, right? Stockholders, shareholders shouldn't necessarily benefit off of government's money, which is actually taxpayers' dollars, while taxpayers are left holding the bill. So I am definitely cool with that. Definitely cool with that. So give me 1 second. I will pull up Boeing as well, since you asked me that question. And I will give you, again, some of the fundamentals. And actually, I should have put that on the screen as well. I don't know why didn't I think about that. Why didn't I think about that, y'all? All right, so Boeing closed today at $158.73. It's still kind of fluctuated between that whole, at a high of like 420-ish, 422-ish. And now we've seen, lows of as low as 100 looks like $30. So again, Boeing is very interesting. Again, I do think they deserve a bailout. They should get a bailout, but I don't know. Now let's look at how much money Boeing makes. Boeing makes $76 billion. They made $76 billion at the end of 2019. So at the end of, again, 2019, they made $76 billion. They had a profit, or a loss rather, of $636 million. So again, while Boeing's going to be here, you're interested in the stock because, it's pretty popular. It gets, I'm assuming that you are interested in the stock because it's pretty popular. But, I don't know what the prospects are for Boeing. By the way, the other thing that kicked Boeing's butt, or kicked Boeing in the corners last year, was a bunch of their planes got grounded. Oh, my IG just ended. Got to start over again. So a bunch of Boeing planes got grounded because there were some issues. There were some issues with their planes. And so people started canceling orders as well. So the question you got to ask yourself is, how long will that go on for? Can Boeing return back to profitability? All right. So, all right, everybody's coming back in. Did you already discuss BA? Yeah, I talked about BA just now. What's your opinion on the big move over the past few days? The last 2 days we've had big moves. It's nothing fundamental. Companies aren't making more money or making less money, right? Yesterday, the stock market was up about 5%. Today, we're up about 2%. It's good movement. Haven't had that kind of positive day since I want to say February. Hey, Coach. Coach Tiana, how are you? So I think, this is what I've been saying. This year is going to be a hell of a year. Strap on, put your seatbelt on, because we are on for a major ride. We are here for a major ride. That's not going to change. Again, a lot of mismanagement out of the White House. That's what they're best at. And that mismanagement, those bad cues, people in the stock market get those bad cues. They take them, they factor them in. Oftentimes, they're emotional, right? Because they can't see how the people in the White House don't have sense, let alone common sense. And so they overreact to them. I tell people all the time, the stock market is the greatest display of human emotion ever. And so when you have leadership that doesn't lead, I think that's probably the best way to put it. You will see that reflected in the stock market, because at the end of the day, people really want to just really key off of what the companies are doing. But in a time like this, when we have a global pandemic, they don't have the luxury of doing that. They don't have that luxury. Now, I've switched between screens a couple of times. Everybody let me know If you can hear me, just by putting a 1 or say yes or put a 1 in the comments. Because I know sometimes these systems do what they want. Okay, Coach Tiana says she hears me. Hey, Jay Cherie, how are you? That voice, is that the only reason why you hear it? Is they hear my voice? You don't care about the information? All right, so Helena, you got to teach me how to say your last name. I don't want to butcher it. How do you feel about Barrick Gold? Barrick Gold's cool. For everybody, Barrick Gold is a gold miner. I think Barrick is BARR. No, Barrick is actually GOLD. They're a gold miner. They mine gold. They mine some other materials as well. So thank you everybody for chiming in. They mine some other materials as well. Let's see what they're doing. Money wise, and I want to say Barrick is probably the biggest gold miner in the country. Last year they had revenues of $9.7 billion. Not shabby. Not shabby, but keep this in mind. Barrick Gold is very much a capital intensive company. What do I mean by capital intensive? It takes a lot of money to make money. They need machinery. They need all kinds of things to get profit out of that ground. You know, they got to dig the gold. They got to dig the gold, then they got to get it off to a refiner. It's a lot of moving parts. It takes a lot of equipment. It takes a lot of man hours to get that done. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about companies, right? Because something Warren Buffett says all the time. Instead of think that you're buying a stock or a piece of paper, you should be thinking that you're buying a piece of a business. So, and again, I am only talking to long-term investors, those that are beginners. My feeling is, based on all my years of experience, it's better for people to start off buying stocks from a long-term perspective, 10 years, meaning that you won't need the money for 10 years, buying in small increments, right? So let's say you got $1,000. We're only taking $100 to invest in the market. Remember, you only need $1 to invest in the market. You only need $1 to invest in the market these days because of fractional investing, which means you're only buying a piece of the stock, right? Quick example, and I get back to the rest of the questions. I bought $10 worth of Amazon. I buy so much stuff from Amazon, so I said I might as well be part of the ownership. And so I bought $10 worth of Amazon. And I want to say last time I looked, my $10 was up 3% and Amazon was up 3%, because some people will say it's not worth investing such little dollars. And I say I disagree, because every time you buy on Amazon, they make a profit. Every time you go to Starbucks, they make a profit. Why not participate in the profit? You know, a lot of times we complain about being poor, but sadly, we make poor decisions when it comes to our finances. And yes, there's a bunch of structural things that are wrong that need to be corrected. But there's also a lot of opportunities we should take advantage of as well, that can put us in a better position financially, ourselves, for our family, and for our community. All right. So Barrick Gold, we're going to look up Barrick Gold. So like I said, last year, they had income of almost $4 billion. So that's not bad. Now, that does seem a little bit high. They might have had it's called a special event, like they might have sold something for several $billion, so that added to their revenue. But I would have to do a deeper dive to find out. They've got $3 billion on the books in cash. And we're talking about Barrick Gold. They have $44 billion in total assets. Right, we talked about that. Assets minus liability equals net worth. And we're talking about it from an accounting side. Assets minus liabilities equals owner's equity. So they are positive, right? Total liability, I'm sorry, did I give you that? Total liability is $14.5 billion. So they've got more assets than they have liabilities. So total owner's equity is $21 billion. All right. So their net worth is $21 billion. So I'll pull it up real quick on the screen right here. Again, any other questions, feel free to drop them in. Barrick doesn't look bad so far. I'm going to say this. All of y'all who love gold, for all of y'all who think gold is like the next best thing to Black Jesus, I wouldn't buy gold. I will buy gold miner companies, because as the price of gold, let me back up. Gold and gold miner companies are very much interlinked. All right. So when gold moves, you see gold miners move. All right. When gold goes up, gold miners typically go up. Now I have the wrong ticker symbol here. For y'all on Instagram, I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining this, because everybody else is looking at a chart. I know that's not fair, but that's the platform, right? So I can only work with what I got. Now, right here, this is a monthly chart. Oh, by the way, let's see. Does Barrick pay a dividend? Barrick pays a dividend. So Barrick pays a 1.44% dividend. All right. So Barrick Gold. No. Okay. We're looking at gold price right now, everybody. I'm going to come back to gold price. I got to pull this up. So sometimes some of the symbols overlap. And you have to make sure, there it is. You have to make sure you're looking at the right thing. Because I've actually seen a lot of people think they're looking at the right thing, buy or sell a stock, and then they had an issue. All right, so wow, when you look at this on a monthly basis, again, Barrick has kind of been sideways. We did have a bit of a dip in March, but it's not too far off. It's not too far off. Actually, when you look at this, right, back in September of 2019, for the month, it closed out at $17. And here we are in March of 2020. And this stock is at $19.11. Hey, that's not bad. So Barrick Gold has held up relatively easily, or relatively good, against Corona. Now, do y'all know what else held up relatively well to Corona? Gold. So I'm going to do something here. Hopefully I'm not being too fancy. And I got y'all. I got a couple of questions on Instagram. I got y'all. But while we're looking at it, right, so remember I told y'all that to me it makes more sense to buy a stock like a Barrick Gold versus actual gold, because people love gold. Now, I brought gold on the screen. So gold is this thin line here, and Barrick Gold is the candlesticks. For the most part, they kind of move in lockstep. When one goes up, the other goes, and then it goes down. When one goes down, the other one goes down. Now you see here, Barrick Gold is kind of going sideways, but gold is still rising. Now that's interesting. They call that a divergence, but we're not going to talk about that too much tonight. I don't want to blow anybody's mind with a whole bunch of technical jargon. All right, so Barrick pays a dividend. Barrick does well under pressure, right? Because, one of the things that people talk about, or they think about when they're buying stocks, they only think about the happy days. They never think about the rainy days, the days where the stocks get their butts kicked like we just did. So, here, and again, this is not a recommendation for anybody to buy or sell this stock. Again, we are talking about this for investment and entertainment purposes only, people. All right. But the stock has done pretty good under the conditions of Corona for the most part. I mean, it's actually had a pretty deep decline, but it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. It's a lower price stock, so some of the price moves are going to be a little bit more aggressive. For example, in November, the stock closed. Give me 1 second. Trying to close that out. And if y'all bored by this, just let me know, because I could totally nerd out on this. But in is this November? Yeah, in November, the stock closed out at $16.80, right? So somebody do the math for me. $16.80. And then in January, it closed at $18.52. All right, is anybody keeping tabs for me? Because I can't write and talk and craft all at the same time. Now in March, it's $19.11. However, we had a bad month. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a bad month at the end of November. That's what we're talking about. But we had a downward month in January, right? Because January opened, the high in January was $19.17. But it hit a low of $17.26. But this sucker has still been rocking. So it's very resilient. Why? Because it's very much linked to gold. Now, the reason why I would rather have Barrick than have gold is because Barrick pays a dividend and you'll get roughly the same price appreciation or depreciation off of Barrick versus gold itself. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't lose anybody. If I did, let me know. But Helena, let me know. By the way, Helena, you my CMOS plug. You're supposed to be on me to make sure I get my CMOS so I can keep up my immune system during this time. I know I got to put an order in. But yeah, Helena has helped me out before. All right, so John says, I have stock in Southwest Airlines. Ticker is LUV. I took a loss on it, but I was wondering if I should stick with the stock or should I trade it? What do you recommend? Now, John's my new buddy. And John, I think you just brought LUV, right? Put that in the section. Put that in. I think you just brought it. And so when you say you took a loss on it, over what time frame? Are we day trading? Are we investing? I only talk to investors on my platforms. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Hey, Gloria, Yolanda, all day. Michelle, how are you? What do you think about? So Michelle's asking me over here while we're waiting on John, because John, I want to hear what you have to say. While we're waiting on John, Michelle asks, what do you think about blockchain and artificial intelligence stocks? I have them written down to add to my portfolio. I mean, AI is the way of the future, so is blockchain. That's going to come down to which companies are run the best. I haven't done a whole lot in terms of a deep dive on a lot of them. It's actually been on my to-do list, but I just haven't had a chance to get to my to-do list. But send me some names, and I'll be more than happy to look at them. Send me some names. All right, so John, you're taking a while, bro. Did I lose you? All right, so while we're waiting on John, let me look to see what I should do. So Mars 5, I hope I'm saying it right. Mars 5 graphics. Mars 5's graphics says, what should a first-time investor be thinking about as it pertains to investing in stocks right now? So what should a first-time investor be thinking about as it pertains to investing in stocks right now? So what I would say, sorry, I got distracted by a comment. What I would say is, first thing a new beginner should be thinking about is how can they make their money work for themselves. One of the best ways to do that is in the stock market. It's been one of the best performing assets ever. And it's great for people like me who want to be a lazy investor. So, I don't necessarily want to go swing a hammer and work on some real estate or start another business over top of the business I already have at this point. Typically, the stock market moves in tangent with the overall economy. And you've heard a lot of investors say this. Warren Buffett says it all the time. If you believe in the U.S. economy, then you should invest in stocks. Now, for the beginner, I believe in keeping it simple, KISS, keep it short and sweet. I say buy things that you like, love, or already buy. Buy things that you like, love, or already buy. Keep it simple. You know, I'm broadcasting on IG on an iPhone. I have my iPad here. So I brought like $20 worth of stock, right? I wanted to be an investor of what I buy. I tend to go to Starbucks sometimes because I have a home office and I want to get out and I want some fresh air. Can't do it now in the social distancing, but I can go to Starbucks, but I can't sit in a cafe if I understand it correctly. So I brought some Starbucks. Now, do you think Starbucks or Apple is a good company or is it a bad company? Do you think Starbucks or Apple will be out of business over the next 5 to 10 years? So I would say buy things that are good businesses that will be here longer than the next 10 years. And again, just start simple. If you like, I have people sending me all kinds of stuff. If you like, what's another one? If you like Coca-Cola, right? I know a lot of people drink Coca-Cola. If you like Coca-Cola, buy some Coca-Cola stock. And by the way, you can take $1 and you can buy some Coca-Cola stock. So right now, everybody can be an investor. Right now, instead of buying some nonsense that's never going to make you any money, you can now take that same purchase and invest it in stocks. All right. So we got John. I thought I saw. Oh, there you go. So John has come back, right? So remember, John's question was, he brought Southwest Airlines. The ticker symbol is LUV, love, right? By the way, Southwest is one of the most profitable airlines in the airline industry. I took a loss on it, but I was wondering if I should stick with the stock or should I trade it? What do you recommend to do? So John says, I brought it on the 12th, and today I brought it for 44. So you brought more. So you're asking me if you should get rid of it and you brought more? What's going on, bro? You're already committed. So listen, I tell everybody, I'm not here. I can trade. I trade for my clients sometimes, but I'm more interested in the educational piece of people understanding investments for a reason. This is the reason. Most of us are programmed to be consumers. Most of us are programmed to be spenders, right? In order to really become wealthy, we have to change our mindset. There's no way around that. And so I feel that one of the easiest ways to start to begin to change your mindset is by becoming an investor, by you starting to understand what businesses are, by you understanding what makes a business good or bad. So I'm not here to really talk about trading for the most part. Maybe at some point later on as many of you progress, because that's the idea, right? Get the basics and then move on and do what you want to do and find what really works for you. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with trading. I just feel it's not for most people because most people, as you are displaying, John, get emotionally tied to their investments. So you brought this on the 12th. It is now the 25th. And you are asking if you should sell it. And you ain't even had it that long. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they're going to get bailed out or not. You don't know what's going to be. Now, me personally, I haven't been touching airlines because, again, it was too much uncertainty. There's not enough direction out of Washington. There's not enough clarity and communication out of Washington because, I was reading an article today about the airlines, and basically almost all domestic flights are about to be canceled. There's some, but for the most part, they're all gone. You're seeing many of these companies suffer many cash crunches. They want to bail out to protect themselves from payroll. They want to be able to keep their people on payroll and get through this short-term blip, hopefully short-term blip, because it wasn't expected. So, John, I again, what's your motive? If you're 10 years out, then you should have brought Southwest for the next 10 years. So if you brought it, stick with it. That's not a recommendation. That's just what I'm talking about. In Mars 5 graphics, I also have a YouTube playlist for beginner investors talking about just what I just talked about. And it kind of walks you through step by step where you can buy the stock at, how to think about it, and what to do. So if you want that, just shoot me a DM and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. Alrighty. So Gerald, I brought DAL Delta Airlines at 21.51 on Friday, and now I'm up 48.25%. I want to buy more. When do you think is a good time to buy? Well, Gerald, I don't know a whole lot about you. I'm going to assume that you're a beginner investor because that's the majority of my audience. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm correct or incorrect. What I would say is, it sounds like maybe you bought one share, or how many shares did you buy? But if you like Delta and you believe in Delta and you think Delta is going to bounce back, then why not go for it? Again, that is not a recommendation. But tell us what led. So Delta right now is $31.10. So Gerald bought it at $21.51. Let's talk about Delta real quick. How much money does Delta make? Delta made $47 billion in 2019. Delta had a profit of $4.7 billion in 2019. Again, very capital intensive business. Those airplanes are not cheap. Fuel is not cheap. Personnel is not cheap. So, it takes a lot to run airlines. Not just everybody can get into the airline business. And they usually hover around that $5 billion net income level. And so anywhere, it looks like in the last couple of years, from 2016 to 2019, they've done around 40 to 45 billion annually. But I want to talk about something, right? Real quick, and I actually should probably do a video on this. And some of y'all may not get this, but I want y'all to tell me if y'all do get it. All right. So nobody makes money or loses money in the stock market until a trade happens, right? So John bought LUV, which is Southwest Airlines. I'm not sure what the rationale or his thesis was that drove him to buy that. Gerald brought Delta. Okay, so Gerald, this conversation ain't even for you, man. You're a trader. But I'm still using. So Gerald brought Delta, right? They're both up. Gerald said he's up 48.25%. John said, I think he said he was up. I'm not sure how much, but they're both up. Their profit's not in their pockets or in their accounts. They haven't made any money yet. It's all paper money. It's all paper gains. It's funny money, some people will call it. All right. So in order for Gerald to lock in that 48%, he has to sell. And at that moment when he sells, he has made money. All right. By the way, 21.51 subtracted from 30 bucks, I think it was. Oh man, I'm on the wrong one. Delta. $31.10. That's roughly a $9 or $8 gain. So he has to pay taxes on that too. All right. So a lot of people don't think about the tax implications that are incurred when you sell a stock, for the good or the bad, right? Because if he lost, he would get a tax break on that as well. He would be able to write off that loss. Short deviation. You should be thinking about tax loss harvesting right now if you already have a portfolio established. Now might be a good time to sell your positions to avoid, because it's what's called the wash rule. You can't sell out of something and then buy it for at least 30 days, but you can buy something similar to it. And so you might want to do that to lock in some of the losses. Buy something that could get a similar type of return and then buy into your original investment. I hope I didn't lose anybody with too much to the technicals, but that is a great thing I'm not seeing anybody talk about right now in the markets. Oh, Gerald, is in your IRA, so it doesn't matter. But if it's not in your IRA, if it's in your brokerage account, you can lock in some of the losses and write it off on your income taxes for 2020 next year. All right. But yeah, again, you don't make the money, you don't lose the money until it sells. All right. So many people that are panicking a lot of times on their 401ks, I'm going to tell you what happened in 2008. A lot of people sold off. They went to cash. They never came back in. Y'all have heard me tell the story before, right? They never came back in, and they missed the run up. So they missed out on an opportunity to make a boatload of money because they got scared. Had they just rolled it out, they would have been okay. Now, did everybody understand what I was saying about tax loss harvesting? I hope I didn't lose anybody. Everybody put a 1 or a yes in the comments to let me know that y'all got it. If not, I'll make a separate video and I will illustrate that point a little bit better. All right. So let's see. Richard said he researched Barrick last night. Those are my Instagram comments. Rhonda Cox says Emerson Electro. Not sure what that company is. Emerson. Is that a US based company or is that I got a feeling it's like German. Emerson Electric. I feel like they make vacuum cleaners for some reason. Do you have a ticker symbol on that, Rhonda? I can't find it. Hey, Melissa. I bought $100 worth of cryptocurrency today called, what's it called? E? Why'd you buy it? CBD Health, how are you? I know, how are you? Oh, Ethereum. You bought $100 worth of Ethereum. Okay, why'd you buy it? Richard, please nerd out. I want to learn. Yeah, but sometimes if I nerd out and I leave people, that doesn't do anybody any good. I don't want to spend, 2 hours online just for people to be lost in me talking about moving averages and RSI or relative strength index or any of that. Okay, said I can't write watching granddaughter say, all right, well, you're doing what's important. Spend time with your grandbaby. I know that's right. How do you know what to buy? You have to make a decision on that. You have to ask yourself. Now, again, I don't want to get too technical, but people might say, is the company on sale? Right? So Apple does over $1 billion a month in cash flow. Cash flow. All their expenses are paid. Cash flow, except for maybe their taxes. Cash flow. Do we think at 250 that, or what is Apple right now? Do we think I think it's at 255 or maybe 260. Do we think at 250 or 260 it's undervalued? Do we think it's overvalued? Let me look real quick. So Apple. And y'all, the rest of y'all tell me if y'all want me to nerd out or not. But again, I don't want to nerd out just for the sake of nerding out if nobody is following along. Can understand it. That's a waste of time. So let's just look at Apple real quick, right? So Apple is at 245. This is the monthly chart for anybody who's looking along. Apple just hit an all-time high at 309. And it's funny, I think I've talked about this before, but everybody talked trash about Tim Cook and how Tim Cook isn't Steve Jobs. But look at what happened. The company's still going on to a higher level and still making a boatload of money. So sometimes we get caught up in hero worship, celebrity worship. Steve Jobs was a hero to many. He was a celebrity to many. I have a lot of disagreements with Steve Jobs. and just a lot of his philosophy. However, I would still have to say that he was probably the greatest CEO of our time. And then he had Tim Cook, which is a further testament to his legacy because he was able to keep going. October is on 29. How are you? So again, you want to ask, when do you know to buy? So you can look at stock price, look at some of the fundamentals, and you can say to yourself, this is a product I use. This is a product a lot of people use. This is a product I think that is a good company or a bad company, right? Because we're making a rational, logical decision, right? A rational, logical decision. And you can make the decision, I think that this price is too much, or I think the price is cheap. All of this requires study, though. It all requires study. You shouldn't be looking at a stock today and say, you know what? I want to get into that. You know what? I think that's sexy. Nah, buddy, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea at all. All right. So Mr. Darren Miles Weekly. Buying at 5 and selling at 50 in 2 days is exciting. Also unlikely, but exciting. And it's the trading approach. Yeah, I agree. But what is excitement? Can anybody tell me what excitement is? Somebody put in the comments what excitement is. That will be me. What was you, Gerald? I missed it. I'm sorry. I was going back and forth. What will be you? Now, don't forget what is exciting. Y'all tell me what it is. Somebody tell me what it is. Anybody on IG got it? Nobody on IG got it. Come on, y'all. Somebody, anybody. Nobody knows what excitement is. Excitement is emotion. Right. Richard got it. Irrational emotion. It's pure emotion. So I just literally said to y'all, we are making rational, logical decisions, not emotional decisions. Right. And that doesn't mean that you might not have, a little bit of emotion in there. But here's the thing, we're human beings. We are emotional. That's how the Creator made us. So I'm not saying that we're supposed to be robots. However, what I am saying is that when it comes to your money, it's better to be in control of your emotions, as opposed to being controlled by your emotions. Leave the emotions for when you have your party, because you were able to invest in stocks and then retire early and take care of yourself and your family without any change in your lifestyle. And then you're able to enjoy your life and travel or spend time with your grandchildren like Richard is when he's watching his grandbaby's hair. That's the time to be emotional. When you are investing, that's not a time to be emotional. And again, it happens all the time. How you doing, Keith? Thanks for joining. I think this is your first one, Keith. Chris, how are you? VI girl, how are you? Let's see. Any more question? Rhonda, what is that? Tropations? Come back to me on that. All right, Michelle says blockchain, Riot blockchain, artificial intelligence, global X, robotics, and intelligence ETF. All right, we'll do. Crystal, how are you? Melanated Alton, how are you? Is that TT or Tata? You need help? All right, well, you're in the right place. A little late. It's all good. We're all here. Listen, if anybody ever wants to watch these in replay, they are on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page. By the way, I'm looking to grow my YouTube page, so I need y'all help. Will y'all help me? Will somebody help me grow my YouTube page? All you got to do is go over there, hit the subscribe button, and share it with a friend. Go over there, YouTube.com/Kamari Ellis. Hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend. Help me grow. Trying to get to 2,000 real quick. Then the next goal will be either 5,000 or 10,000. I haven't figured it out yet. Shorty from the block, I think that's your name, Jaguar Paul. All right, so Richard, I just answered that question. About how to buy. You have to start developing your system and what you think is good and what you think isn't. I try to keep it simple, right? What's a good company? Can we tell what a good company is? A good company has a way of buying and selling their product kind of systematically, right? They're not trying to figure out how to get clients or customers every month. They've got that down pat. They've got staff, or they've got a system and process in place. They typically have a good amount of money, and they make profits, or they make good profits. Some industries have higher profits, like your tech sector. I think Apple is doing somewhere around 40% profit margin. And I just looked at Delta, right? Y'all saw that Delta was making, 45 billion last year. And they only walked away with 4.5 billion in profit. That's roughly a 10% profit margin. That's not that sexy from a profit margin standpoint. However, there's a lot of other factors that come in play. All right. Do I have any other questions? All right, let's see. So Gerald said I had Fannie and Freddie when the market tanked in 2007, 2008, plus others like Visa, Domino's, Pizza, and did exactly what you said, traded everything with the thought to get back in and never did. When I finally looked at those stocks a year or so later, I kicked myself in behind. I bet you kicked yourself in the behind when you saw Visa. I wonder which one was the best. Domino's has had quite a run too, but Visa is, that's a nice company, very well run company that's going to be around for a long time. Gerald, what do you feel that was your biggest learning experience though? I mean, because we have you live right now. So what do you feel is your biggest learning experience? And during the time, by the way, Fannie and Freddie were pretty hot as well. How you doing, MBK? Models, how are you? Trying to see if there are any more questions. Melanated also, no, I didn't. So he asked, did you say tax false harvesting? No, I said tax loss harvesting. And what tax loss harvesting is when your portfolio is down and you're taking a loss, you can write that off. If you sell out, right, and you capture your losses, you can write those off on your taxes. There is a cap. I want to say you can only write off 2,500. It might be 3,000 this year. I got to go back and look. But there's a cap. You can only write off so much for a year. But guess what? You can roll those losses over for years to come in the future as well. So that's what do you need more info on, Cindy? Martin, how are you, sir? How's your tax season coming? My friend brought Boeing and watch for years, so he earned $2,000. So he said, pick a company and watch. Yeah, I have no problem with that. The Real Deep Dimples, how are you? One and done crypto. So Michelle says one and done cryptocurrency and thought it would make a big profit when the economy recovers from the coronavirus pandemic. I don't know. I'll be honest, folks. I am not the biggest cryptocurrency fan. Mr. Johnson, how are you, sir? Hope you're well. Young King, Willie Days. I got labeled the Bitcoin hater back when Bitcoin was at somewhere between 15,000 and 19,000. I told folks not to touch it. I said it's in a bubble. People thought I was crazy. And it broke, and it still hasn't come back yet. And I don't think it will come back anytime soon. Some of the people feel that as the stimulus package comes online, it could be a good presentation or a good opportunity will present itself for people to buy more Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I'm not in that bandwagon. If you look at the way crypto is constructed and everything else, there's a lot to it. I don't see how the supply demand factors will will be able to push the price higher unless it's a frenzy. Because while there is value of using Bitcoin to exchange for product and service, I don't really see its use for anything else. By the way, I think it's very valuable in other countries that don't have stable currency systems. But again, I'm just not, I don't see the benefit, the super duper benefit. Okay, so I asked Gerald what was his biggest learning lesson, and he says realizing the losses. And just for everybody who might have forgot, he was investing heavy back in 07 and 08, lost some money, sold out. And so I asked him what was the lesson, and he said realizing the losses and panicking. Right. So he was saying that he shouldn't have panicked. He shouldn't have sold out. Maybe he should have done something different. Yep. So I'm looking. Thanks for the announcement. Thank you for joining. Oh, thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Shouts out to you, Richard. Everybody go subscribe to my YouTube channel. They say I don't promote myself enough. Matt Laco, how are you? Yes, tax loss harvesting. You got it. Southside Shorty. How are you, Shorty? What do I think of Boeing? Contract car. I kind of covered Boeing already. It's a necessary company. It's going to be here for a while. It deserves to be bailed out. Would I invest in it? Probably not right now, because I'm looking at long-term plays. Again, you can make Cindy, I'm not a big proponent for people to buy options when they're brand new, but yes, an options contract is 100 shares. But no, you're buying options for 100 shares. But we'll have that discussion offline. I don't want to trick anybody up. I don't think Boeing is super duper special at this time. Right. I had to gather myself for a minute there, folks. Excuse me. They lost a bunch of contracts last year because there was problems with the machinery, with the planes. And they lost a lot of contracts. I'm not sure if those contracts have come back yet. And so I wouldn't want to just invest in a company based off of them purely getting a stimulus package. Because while I do believe the airlines deserve a stimulus package, airlines are crucial to the economy. You won't have an economy if you do not, I repeat, if you do not have airlines. There's too much money flowing through the airs on those little buses flying through the air to ignore them. Guys, an investor, how are you? You got any Corona updates for me? So again, Boeing, I would wait. I wouldn't be on a tear to try to jump on the Boeing. And again, don't fall in love with these two last updates. We got a lot more issues that's coming down the pipe. Anthony saying I don't promote myself enough. Okay, I'm trying to right that wrong. All right, so please forgive me. So everybody that's watching, please go to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please share my YouTube channel only if you find value from these videos. We've been on for about an hour and a half. All right, so Gerald said on CNBC they talked about forward at $5. Is it worth a trade? Again, this platform is only for entertainment and educational purposes only. Past performance of an investment is not an indication of future results. All right. Before you invest in anything, talk to your tax and investment advisor. So everybody knows I have been buying Ford. I don't think Ford's going anywhere. Ford is, I'll pull it up on the screen. Ford's got about $5 billion. I'm not sure what their burn rate is right now because they've been closing down factories. But I don't know if you guys knew this, but I shared this. Ford is now in the business of making respirators. They teamed up with 3M to make respirators. They're going to be converting over many of their factories. And God damn, look how ugly that chart is. Just a continual slide. Down, 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 down. However, Ford still makes the best truck or most sold truck in the country. Still relatively profitable. has good cash, got about 5 billion, and they have good management. And so I am the camp of believing that Ford will turn around at some point. And they had almost a 13% dividend. However, they suspended their dividend. And when I was talking about it before, I told folks there's going to be some rough roads. But this isn't exactly like 2008, 2009. There's a lot more cash on the books of these companies when you look at what was happening. So I think overall everybody will be able to make a recovery in the long run. Long run. Yeah, we ain't talking trading, folks. Mars 5 Graphics asks, can you plug your YouTube channel? Not a problem. YouTube channel is youtube.com/Kamari Ellis, and I will pin it in the comments. You know what? I can't do it right now. So // Kamari Ellis. My name is spelled CAMARIELLIS. CAMARIELLIS. So youtube.com /Kamari. There's a bunch of stuff up there. It's funny, right? Again, a lot of people say I don't promote myself enough. There's a lot of good interviews up there with some best-selling authors, some other investors, some business owners. There's a lot of gems up there, and I'm not the I've been told I don't promote a lot, but if I must say so myself, there's some good stuff up there. There's some good work up there. And what I have to do now is what I'm learning is like this is an hour-and-a-half long video that'll be on YouTube. Nobody's going to sit and watch an hour-and-a-half long YouTube. So what I have to do is chop these up and put them out and repurpose them, or find somebody that will help me do that, or somebody I got to pay to do it. Ultimately, that's what I'm expecting. All right. Any more questions? Jay Sharif said, respirators creative. Yes. Kaizen used to be my favorite person. Oh, you corrected. All right. You are Rabito. I'm just joking. Subscribe, my man. Thank you, Mars. I appreciate you. Any more questions? Any more questions before the night's out? I haven't eaten or eaten. Eyes are hungry. But you know what? While we're here and I don't see any questions out, I'll take this time to talk about something that I find very interesting. Okay, Contract Call says, what do you think about Aurora Cannabis? My take is I don't think anybody at this point right now should invest directly into any singular cannabis company. I do own Tilray, full disclosure. Again, that's not a recommendation. But they all are experiencing a lot of what I would consider structural changes, and the industry is in very infant stages. So they're going to be having a lot of issues. I want to say Aurora is the largest. I have to go back and double check that. But, Tilray has a contract with Anheuser-Busch. So as soon as, if and when we can get it legalized in the States, that could be a good thing, right? They can make a lot of money off that. But they're still working throughout the world, and they're distributing their content, their product. So I think Tilray would do good. I have to go back and double check Aurora. I used to know a lot better. But what I recommend everybody to do, if you really love cannabis and you want to be involved in that space, buy MJ. MJ is the ETF. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. ETF is just like a bucket or something that's a holder. It basically holds all of the major cannabis companies. And so you're able to take advantage of the entire industry, because some of them are going to fall off. So I think you can buy MJ, get you the whole bucket. God, it's Chris. How are you? Thanks for joining tonight. You can buy the whole bucket and still benefit, because the industry is going to do well. The question isn't if, the question is when. Nobody knows when. All right, Melody Alton said, bro, I watch the long ones all the time while I'm cooking, cleaning, traveling. I get it, my brother. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate you. Thank you. So what I was going to talk about So this weekend, I binge watched on Netflix the whole Self-Made series about Madam C.J. Walker. Shout out to Madam C.J. Walker. It was entertaining. However, I had issues. I didn't like how they took the character Audie Monroe, who was really based on Annie Malone, who was actually the first black female millionaire in the hair care industry. I'm going to eat after this last point. I thought it was bad, right? Now, if you go read, you do the history, they talk about this in Black Fortunes. Great book. I encourage everybody to read it. It's a story about uh, many of the blacks after slavery, how black people after slavery were able to accomplish millionaire status. It wasn't just one or two, there were several. Despite the odds, they were able to do it. But I felt like, after all the accusations, because it was alleged that Madam C.J. Walker actually stole Annie Malone's formula. And in the movie, they said that Madam C.J. Walker was only a watch girl, when in fact she was a watch girl for a short period of time and became one of Annie Malone's top salespeople, and that ran multiple territories. And also, this series was executive produced by LeBron James, and Maverick Carter, and I'm fans of both of them. But I just felt like it does a disservice to the community that doesn't have a whole lot of content around black business owners, around successful black business owners, let alone successful millionaire black business owners, for them to see this kind of made up, fictionalized story at them going at each other when they really didn't. And I understand you have to have drama, you have to have some tension when you do these things, these projects. It has to be entertaining, right? The audience likes to see it. And I get you have to make up fictional characters sometimes, but this fictional character was so close to real life, or it's so close to what Annie Malone was. And they, again, just really distorted it. I feel they really did a disservice to Annie Malone. I'm really disappointed. And so I still encourage everybody to go see it. I still would encourage everybody to support the projects that LeBron James and Maverick Carter put out, because at the end of the day, it's not a whole lot of black producers, directors, and contributors. So, again, it's not a diss, right? I'm not dissing. I'm just sharing my thoughts on it. I would have much rather seen, they could have talked about the Annie Malone conflict with Madam C.J. Walker and told the truth about it, and then created a whole other fictional character where there was the real antagonist, protagonist type scenario when you look at films and stories. Right. Jay Sherry says, let them both shine. I agree. But people don't like that. They want to see friction. They want the drama. It's like, when you talk about seeing a train wreck, everybody has to watch the train wreck, So Love Us 4, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Play your own _risk. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So, I would love to see what y'all think about it. Tell me what y'all think. I'm always being told, oh, Kamari, you're just too serious. You got to lighten up. You got to have fun. But I also feel like, and again, I'm not trying to be dogmatic tonight, but when you look at the stories that have been put out about the black community, they're, for the most part, when you look at the body of work, they've been negative. There is a narrative by the media to paint black people in a negative light. And so when you have this opportunity to let them shine, why not let them shine? I think that's so, so important, especially when you think about, the history. You got to think about the history. You got to think about all of it. So that's my soapbox time. I'm done. I'm going to get some vittles. I'm going to eat. And so I will see you all next time. I'm sure I'll be on tomorrow. And I have some interviews coming up as well. By the way, let me know, what other topics are you interested in learning about? All right. Again, Kamari Ellis out. Thank you for watching the Financial Rebel Show. This was the Ask Kamari segment. We'll be back. Continue to raise your IQ, read books, study. take advantage of this quarantine time. Don't just watch ratchet TV and do nonsense. Read a book. Read a good book. All right. And come back and tell us all about it. Until the next time, I'm Kamari Ellis. I'll see you later. Have a great night. Bye-bye.